Everyone, welcome back to the spotlight. I'm here straight after the Everton game in the woods with the dog on a dog walk. United diary 2-2 from 2-0 down. We've rescued the game again from absolutely nothing, and Spurs currently losing to Ipswich, beating Ipswich, means that relegation does look like it's not going to happen. It was a long shot anyway, but it is what it is right now. The first half, Manchester United were nothing but a total and utter disgrace today. The entire team, I don't really know what to say about it, but, and I say it all the time about basics, how can Premier League footballers not pass a ball 5 to 10 yards on the floor to each other's feet? It is beyond me. It's absolutely insane that we are so bad at the basics. There's no excuse for it. Everton just wanted it more in that first half. That is the be all and end all of the game. And I've got a couple of notes here to go through, but you know what the topic is going to be. And I wanted Bruno out of the pivot, and he was out the pivot, and he was shockingly bad in that first half as well. Again, really poor, but he wasn't the only one. De Ligt and Maguire, absolutely abysmal. I thought slow, sloppy on the ball, losing concentration, slow at reacting, everything. And the couple of goals, I just want to, because everyone will, and obviously Onana, I mean, I'll get on to Onana in a bit, but I wanted to talk about my main topic, Bruno. That people just think we conceded a sloppy goal off a corner, which we did. But where was the ball lost when that corner came about? It came about with Bruno playing a 10-yard pass to Casemiro. And the pass wasn't at his feet. It was a ball that was a yard or two to the right of Casemiro. And he had to adjust to control it. Because he had to adjust to control it, he got tackled. They broke, got the corner, scored. People will either blame Casemiro for losing it, or they'll blame the calamity that happened in the corner. And yes, the corner was defended really poorly. So I get that. You've still got to deal with the corner. But this is more to my point of what I'm getting to about Bruno is people will just remember the last 20 minutes of today's game and what Bruno did. He dropped into the pivot and played okay there. Why? Because Everton sat off and allowed him to dictate the game. If Everton had continued playing like they were playing in the first 60 minutes of today, Bruno wouldn't have dictated that game. They went into all-out defence mode and sat off and allowed him to get the ball. And yes, Bruno can be dangerous when he's got time and space, but that's not him grasping the game and taking control of it. It's more Everton allowing us to take control of the game. But people will remember the free kick. And yes, it was a good free kick. I think Pickford's positioning was awful. He should have saved it, I think. He stood behind his wall. The whole point of the wall is they defend one side of the goal, he defends the other. He kind of takes a movement towards his wall. And it's poor goalkeeping by Pickford, as well as it's a good strike by Bruno. Not taking the goal away from Bruno, it was a good free kick. About the third one he scored in 6 years, may I add. But my point, I will get to it, is that people will forget that Bruno gave the ball away for the first goal with the Casemiro incident I just explained. And the second goal is worse. Bruno picks the ball up in his own half, around the halfway line. Instead of playing a simple 5-10 yard pass sideways because there's nothing on, he tries to clip the ball over the top to Højlund. Okay. It was a hopeful, usual Bruno hit and hope ball that was easily cut out. The ball then forced to Decore, who basically does a little body feint and leaves Bruno behind, who then stops running. So then Casemiro and Agate are chasing Decore back, and they eventually score off it. Yes, Onana, what is he doing powering the ball up in the air? But my point is, the Onana part doesn't happen if Bruno is more sensible with the ball in the first place, in the final third or on the halfway line. And the penalty decision, it would have been extremely harsh, but it's one of them that if that happens to us in the opposite box at 2-2, you're screaming that it's a penalty. De Ligt has got hold of Young. He then lets go, and then Maguire puts his hand across his body, and then Young goes down. I think Young's going down because De Ligt had hold of him to start with, and he couldn't get to the ball. He's not going down from the contact from Maguire. And we've got extremely lucky that the people in the reffing in the VAR room are that thick. They're looking at the part where he goes down. They're not looking at the 5 seconds before or the couple of seconds before where De Ligt's got hold of his shirt. The other way round, every Man United fan is saying that's a pen. Obviously, this way round, everyone's saying it's not, it's a dive. It's one of them that's completely 50-50, and we're extremely lucky they've sent him to the monitor, because we all know what happens when they go to the monitor, they change the decision. 9 times out of 10, that happens in another game, it ain't going to the monitor, and it's a penalty. But who played a ridiculous pass back across his own goal in the air for that to even come about? Yes, Bruno Fernandes. So yes, he scored a goal for us today. Yes, apparently he got man of the match on TNT somehow. But this is what I mean about Bruno is people pick out these moments. But the 3 major moments Everton had and scored 2, and we got lucky not giving a penalty away on the other one, are because Bruno's lost the ball. And we've been turned on in transition, or he's just doing something that's absolutely ridiculous in stoppage time, putting his back 4 under pressure, 3 under pressure, whatever. And people need to watch more of Bruno's game than the good bits. Like, sit and watch Bruno for a game, 90 minutes, or go back and watch that Everton game and keep one eye on Bruno at all times. You will realise what I am trying to tell you here. That the ugly outweighs the good with Bruno. And at the minute, he is one of the only things that seems to turn up and do the odd good thing. So it allows him to get away with it. But to be a team that progresses into the future and get away from where we are now, I'm afraid we need to move away from that kind of player big time. And that is this week's Bruno rant. I'm going to finish it there. What I want to talk about is, I've already mentioned basics a bit, so I won't go over that, but intensity is another one. We have to be, on and off the ball, one of the slowest teams in the Premier League. Whether it's because the players are technically not good enough, which I do believe that is true, and also players' movement is not good enough. And I've mentioned it a couple of weeks ago about when Onana's got the ball and he gives it to a centre-back, there's not a midfield option. And again, it was true today. Either the centre-backs take too many touches and don't find them, or there's no movement, they go back to Onana and he kicks it long. I still will defend Onana on his long balls because the options are not there for him to go short. The only option is a centre-back. They're not good enough the ball. De Ligt ain't good enough the ball. Mazraoui isn't. and neither is Maguire. Martinez can do it to some extent, and Yoro we're yet to see. Yoro, what I've seen of him on the ball, doesn't look like anything absolutely outstanding either. So that we struggle to build out. Then you've got Casemiro and Agate in midfield. Neither of them are known for being ball-playing players. So they don't then pick the ball up off the centre-back and he can't progress. We go long, lose it, same old thing. I've said it before, we need 2 ball-playing sixes, not an 8, sixes who defence first in midfield. And it allows the wing-backs to go. It allows the 2 10s to stay high. And it allows the forward to stay forward. And they sit and mop everything up. Again today, we'll run through in midfield, especially first half. The 2 sixes are getting too high up the pitch, or one of them is, and it's down to one of them to cover the entirety of the midfield. It doesn't work. Whether that's the players doing it themselves or whether that's Amarin's instructions, either way, it has to change. Then moving on to the back 3, they're too slow. I've said this before. Even if we could play out the back and get to the halfway line, they're scared of getting to the halfway line. 1, because they know the final third can't keep the ball, so they can't commit. And 2, if we get caught in transition, none of our centre-backs are quick enough to recover. And then you have Onana, who doesn't come off his line. I've said this now for a good few weeks, if you've ever watched my videos before, that as we're talking about now how we need to change the whole front line and we don't need a new back 4, back 3, whatever. I honestly think that Maguire's going to leave anyway. De Ligt is a decent defender at nowhere near quick enough. Martinez is injured for a season and not quick anyway. And we've got Yoro, who's an 18-year-old, and we don't know if he's good enough or not yet. But he's fairly quick. Mazwari is quickish, but is he quick enough? I don't know. I've said it in other videos. Arsenal have Saliba and Gabriel, who are super quick. Liverpool have Van Dijk, who is super quick. Man City had Kyle Walker for years, who is basically there as a quick defender to recover. We have no recovery defenders. We have defenders who are good at defending their own box in the air and aggressively, not playing high lines, not technical ability passing out, and certainly not when the ball is knocked over the red and they're running back to their own goal. We're going to, even if we end up scoring, I think, more goals next year because we invest in the front line, we will still concede for fun with our defensive midfielders we've currently got and our back 3. And that moves on to Agate. I've mentioned it to before. Will we win anything substantial with Agate? Today, yeah, he's doing the doggy work again. He's rubbish on the ball. Yes, he scored a goal. He's just Fred. I've said it before, he's just another Fred. We need more than that. We need 2 proper CDMs who can carry the ball and actually pass technically, because at the minute, none of them can do it. I've mentioned Onana. I gave him a benefit of the doubt for a while. I'm afraid the benefit of the doubt is completely gone. I've said it a few times. He's like a frigging Pez goalkeeper from the past when I was a kid. Every time you have a shot, they parry it back to the penalty spot and you just straight to a forward and they kick it in. He's absolutely ridiculous. Like, just put a kid in goal, man. I know we talk about the kids and put any of the kids in the team, but I really, really do think, I don't think Bayende is good enough either. He's dodgy. And if our sub-keeper can't dislodge Onana after these performances, he's not good enough. We must have a keeper in the under-21s or under-18s who's half competent. And even if he makes 2 or 3 mistakes, he'd be making no more mistakes than Onana is. That is the one I would put a kid in goal, and that's not even a joke. I mean, a draw has ended up a good result for us today because I thought we were going to get battered. And we really did get battered until Everton capitulated and let us back in the game. Just a shout out to Garnacho as well. I've been tough on Garnacho, but I think we've found out again and how he started his career with us and looked right that the lad at this moment in time is an impact sub. Every time he comes off the bench and gets out wide on the touchline, he scares defenders. Yes, his final ball, his final pass, he did it today, he ran into people a couple of times. But at least when he gets the ball, he's turning defenders round. They're scared of him running at him. Is he the finished article? Absolutely not. Is he something I think in the future could win us stuff? Maybe. Right now, I think he has to play. And he's definitely an impact sub rather than a starter. But I think over the last 2 or 3 games when he's come on as a sub and what he's done, he probably deserves to start. And that really is all I've got to talk about today in the Everton game and where we're at. We've got away with another one. 2-0 down, hammered in the first half. Somehow get it back to 2-2. We throw ourselves under the bus right at the end. And for once, VAR has saved us instead of the other way round. Lucky, lucky, lucky is all I've got to say. And I'm going to get back to walking the dog. Please like, favourite and subscribe if you've got this far. And I will talk to you all on the next video, which will be whenever. Just do it in a bit of a vlog. Peace, sub, and keep the community strong, everyone. See you later.